I just want to apologize real quick for how quiet this video is. I don't know where. I think it was my headphones that I was using. I don't know, but I'm not gonna use it anymore from now on. Yeah, I'll make sure there's closed captions on this video. Enjoy. Hey guys, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be reacting to horse people training methods. Maybe I'll agree with them, maybe I don't. I'll let you guys know. Also, so I will tell if I want you guys to know who they are. I'll let you guys know who they are. If I don't want you to know who they are, then I won't let you know who they are. There's also going to be a lot of criticism I'm going to give.
Today is a new start for Cider, a 6-year-old rescue mare from Habitat for Horses. All Cider has ever known is abuse, starvation and neglect. My goal, mate, is to gain her respect and build her confidence with humans. How you doing, mate? Jolene, it's great to have you here, Jolene. Let's get your horse off, mate. This mare was loose in the stock trailer, which, to be honest, is I don't typically like to do a lot of that, unless they're really wild, of course, you may have to, but the trouble when you've got them loose is when you open up that back...
Not true. I'm pretty sure a lot of times it's actually good for them because they can move around, and so then with like a mom and baby, so then she's not stuck in one place, and so then she can see where she's standing.
Back door, they're usually in a hurry and they want to go and bust out of that back door.
Again, if their trailer broke, then they won't.
So I was going to open the back door a little bit, sneak in there, see if I could get the lead rope clipped up on her, and then open the door and see if I could get her out. But, you know, as antsy as she was and upset as she was and reacted,
with this situation, you will take the horse by, like, right here, you'll get all your lead, and you'll walk, and you'll do pressure and release. So, like, when they take a step, you release. Then you grab, and you pressure again until they walk into the stall.
Okay, Cider. Radio. We've got the mare to the round pen. She led not too bad. A couple of times on the way over here, she kind of got spooked. And then one time she reared right up in the air and got real worried about the whole deal. But this is where I like to start training a horse, is in the round pen, right here, okay? The reason why I like to start training a horse using the down under horsemanship methods in the round pen is that you first of all got to be able to catch your horse. If you can't catch your horse without having to pin it in the corner of the stall or throw a rope on it, you're not starting the lesson out.
Not true whatsoever. At all. If you're, like, you guys know that just because you need a lead rope or something to catch your horse does not mean because maybe you need to stop them so they don't go out of the stall, or maybe you need to so they can just tie them into their stall. Lies.
The right foot. So basically, I would rather my horse catch me rather than me trying to catch him. It also gives me a chance to get the horse respectful, get him moving his feet forwards, backwards, left and right, getting him moving out of my space without being connected to him with the halter.
You also don't want to be in their space. We forgot to mention that.
Lead rope. I use these rope halters and a 14-foot lead rope, just like right there. I can wiggle that rope, see how that clip...
No! Oh my gosh. You don't do this. Now, I'm not gonna say I'm a horse trainer, but I've seen many horses be trained. In the time I have been at this horse facility, the one I'm at now, I've never seen them once do this. And they've had to break. Most of that means to like get a horse started. They've broken plenty of horses. I've never seen them once do that to them.
Can bump her under the chin there, and I can get her to move out of my personal space. They also have a weighted end. The lead ropes have a weighted end. That way, if I go to twirl the end of it, it's very easy for me to yield her hindquarters or get her to get.
Or, you know what you could do? You could just move to the other side of the horse and push her over.
Give me two eyes. The rope has a very unique feel to it, is that it's kind of what I call an energy or life of its own. When I wiggle it here, whatever I do with my hand, you see how it ends up at the clip?
You don't have to have just, that doesn't mean if these are just for a rope halter. You can use that, I can do that with my halter, and I don't use a rope halter all the time. I use a normal basic halter.
If I wiggle it more, it increases the pressure.
It also annoys them.
There we go, until she moves her feet. Now, even
you don't want a horse to rear. That means they're scared. Or they want to play. But in this instance, she's scared. Because she wants to play. She's scared of him. She is scared. Don't do this. What you want to do first is to try to like just walk them around in wherever you're going. Start slow.
You know, she read up in the air. I'm not too worried about that. What I'm worried about is that she respects it there and she moves out of my space. Notice that time she didn't rear up?
I don't know how he doesn't mention a horse's personal space. Because that's another ginormous way to gain respect, is not being in their space.
And she's already starting to what? Look, cock a leg, and she licked the lips just then. So just by getting two eyes established on me, okay, and getting her to move out of my space, we've already started to get her to submit. Okay, let's get started here. So we've got her in the round pen. Let me see if I can get her to come off this pressure here. And I'm going to turn her loose. Okay, let's go. Rub her here a little bit. And when I go to take this halter off, I want to start instilling some good habits in her from right now. When I take that halter off, I'm not going to let her...
You should also start this as soon as they're down. I know a lot of people say, don't do this, don't do this. But you should put a halter on as soon as the horse is born with the mom. Because if you get a horse to this, it's going to be such a hard thing to do. Because they're not going to know what that is. You want it as soon as the baby hits the floor. Okay. Not like, you don't want it as soon as it comes out of the mom, you put it on the halter. Like as soon as it gets, like after a couple of days, you want a halter on the baby.
Just turn and run. Get her head tip towards me. There we go. And then I'll let her off. Okie dokie. Let's get started, mate. Another tool that I'm going to use is our handy stick. Our handy stick and string is basically just an extension of our arm, okay? It's a 4-foot fiberglass pole.
Doesn't matter the length.
With a golf grip on the end of it. It's got a rubber tip on the other end. It's got a 6...
That also doesn't matter.
6-foot long rope string.
That does matter. You want a long... Oh, I guess it doesn't. As long as it gets long, as it can hit the ground.
On it, okay? The stick is 4 feet long. The string is 6 feet long. My arm's 3 feet long. So altogether, I can reach it out and I can spank or influence 13 feet away from me. By using the stick and string, I use this as a sensitizing tool to encourage my horses to move their feet. And I also use it as a desensitizing tool to get my horse to stand still, relax, and not be worried.
You don't use that because, well, yeah, you can, but you don't whap it. Because if you're teaching it to move when you whap it, you're teaching it there, then you're gonna start confusing your horse.
Worried about things moving around him. See,
you can touch them with the lunge line.
Horses hate objects, especially objects to do what? Move and what? Make a noise. Anything that doesn't live in your horse's pasture or stall, your horse classes as an object, okay? So I want to desensitize Cider to as many objects that move and make a noise as I possibly can. So by using the halter and lead rope and the stick and string, I've got the right tools to get started from the beginning. Now, as far as round pen size goes, I like a 50-foot in diameter round pen. 50 feet in diameter. Any bigger than 50 feet in diameter, any smaller than 10 or 30 feet per round, and I think the doesn't know anything else. This is where I'd like you to start my program in around. It's at 6 feet. So 50 feet, you can put this pole. They're all gain and always rewarding the slightest try. So by getting her feet to move in the round pen, is I need to get control of her feet. There's 3 ways you can control a horse's mind. The first way is by creating movement, getting the horse's feet to move. The second way you can control a horse's mind is by redirecting that movement, forwards, backwards, left and right. And the third way you can control a horse's mind is by inhibiting that movement, okay? That would be like laying the horse down, hobbling them, teaching them to lead by their feet. And we'll do a bunch of that, but it won't be until step number 1 and 2 are gone. Is we're gonna create movement by getting the feet to move, and then we're gonna redirect that movement. So you gain a horse's respect by moving their feet forwards, backwards, left and right. We've got to get her to respect us, and we've got her to get her to use the thinking side of her brain.
I want to add something. I really think it's a giant thing to have the owner be watching, if it's at all possible, so then they can learn while their horse is learning. So they can learn at the same time. So then you should start having the owner step in and you do it, and then the owner does it.
And help best up Ship Ranch. The
now, okay, and right where that girth would be.
All right, that's enough. I can't watch anymore. All right, that's something I don't agree with. Now we're gonna watch a video. That's something basically different. It's the same. It's basically, but still training. I'm going, and this is also Clinton Anderson. All right, I'm going to go to the next video. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so this is obviously, I don't know how to say this. I don't know if you guys know this, but her name is Fallon Taylor, and so yeah, she's gonna be training a baby horse. So yeah, let's watch.
That's really nice.
See how she's touching the horse and trying to gain its that's how you would gain trust. But this is what I mean, like she's just touching it. She's not whapping it. This is perfect what I was talking about earlier. Like she's just touching the horse with it. It is actually kind of good to like open the lunge line. Well, I mean, I'm not a professional, I'm saying, but what I've seen with many horse trainers at the ranch I'm at, they've touched the lunge, they've opened the lunge line and touched it with the whip of it. A horse is aggressive, it would not be pinning, it would pin its ears back.
That's got away with this habit for a long time. So when I walk in this round pen, I'm going to start gaining control of his feet and establishing that respect by moving his feet forwards, backwards, left and right. When he's starting to do what I want him to do, and he's behaving well, I want to get out. I don't want to keep annoying him and doing it over and over and over again. Horses don't learn from pressure.
That would be pinning his ears. But he's just listening. That's another thing when they pin their ears. It does not mean that they're angry or something. It's either because they're listening or they don't like something. Or yeah, they're aggressive. But there's no such thing as an aggressive horse. There's no such thing as an aggressive anything.
They learn from the release of pressure. Us leaving him alone is the greatest reward he could have. Let's get in there.
Clinton's bigger and better than me, and if he can't help Jack, I don't think anybody can.
So straight away, I'm going to ask his feet to move. Point, clock. Move those feet.
I want you guys to say something, because I was watching this video earlier by someone else. Oh, that's fast. I meant to go slow.
Say move, you better.
Okay. Watch the whip. See? He's hitting the horse. He's all dusty. He's literally hitting that horse.
Once you've got a horse that's aggressive, you better start thinking about how you're going to correct that pretty quick.
I would also recommend using a lunge line if you have an aggressive horse.
I want him to realize I'm deadly serious.
Jack was probably thinking, holy crap, who's this Australian?
Right now, he's figured out that I'm not normal. This is
Yeah, normal people don't do this.
a whole different boxing match than what he's used to. Too slow. Move. Right there. He pinned his ears at me right there. Move. Right there. He pinned his ears at me.
He's not pinning his ears. FYI, like I said earlier, even if he was pinning his ears, it's because he doesn't like you and you're being a jerk.
Right there.
Again, that's not pinning your ears. That is not. That's because he's listening. Or whatever.
The horse definitely had a change in responding to Clinton's more aggressive black and white behavior. You could
Yeah, he isn't aggressive. The horse.
see that change in his eye.
Change direction, step in front, back, ask him.
That's another reason I use the lunge line. Alright, I do not agree with this training method. Alright, let's go watch. Let's go. I have I have talked about this person so many times, even on my Instagram. Valentina Cowgirl is who this person is, and she's training her baby horse.
I always start our round penning sessions by desensitizing the horse.
Okay, this is an exception. Because like how he's explaining it is he's whipping it like all around. She's just doing it beside her. So it's not an exception, it's just
Is to the lunge whip, just to remind them that it's not there to hurt them. After that, I usually just turn her out for a little bit and let her chill out, explore the round pen, do her own thing for a while. And I like to take advantage of this time to just walk around the round pen, pick
the round pen, the surrounding areas, what it's like. Because I did a lot of groundwork in the round pen, she was always really used to it, as you can see. She's over there munching. And I desensitized her to the lunge line, the lunge whip, just to remind her again that it's not here to hurt her. She hasn't been worked in a really long time. It's been 2 months. None of the horses really have been worked that much. As you can tell, the round pen's like completely overgrown, so I apologize. This is where I'm gonna start actually round penning her and giving her cues, teaching her what each cue means. I'm gonna talk as if this is her first time, but it's everything. Okay, so I'm gonna use, like, for example, my cues to walk off is 1 click, like that, and then posting, trotting. So like he actually pretty base of you, like started. So I would say I would cluck, and then I would put pressure with my body, and then the third step was to smack the floor with the whip. Once she started going, I wouldn't click anymore. I would release all the pressure, showing her, okay, what she did is what I wanted, so it's a good job. So that's how I taught it. For example, to start off, I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna keep walking, smack. And once she starts walking, I'm gonna back.
She's not hitting the horse. She's hitting the ground. He was hitting the horse. I didn't even show you.
I'm gonna keep walking.
You can even see it hit the ground.
I'm gonna keep walking.
Watch. See that little black thing? That is it. The horse is clear over there.
Smack. And once she starts walking, I'm gonna back off. But of course, we haven't done this in 2 months. There's grass in the round pen, so I'm still applying pressure because she stopped a while back. So I don't want to back off and then have her stop again, but I'm applying a little bit of pressure and she's still walking, so that's good. There, I backed off a little bit. So then I click again and she goes for her trot. So if she's already trotting and doing what I asked.
Basically, I do agree with this. I'm not gonna watch the entire video because then I would have an entire video. Basically, that's the bare minimum. Oh wait, I have 2 more videos to show you. So, this is my horse being trained. Let's watch.
Yeah, yesterday she just looked around like nothing.
I think it's kind of cute.
She would not do that for me though.
Or no, listen to the audio. Now, okay, I do want to do this. Whoa! If a horse refuses to stop, she is not whapping the face like he did. She's just pulling. She's pulling on it, and I know this because I do it too. You're pulling it. You don't just shake it. You don't shake the lunge line. You pull and say firmly if that's your command to stop. You say whoa, firmly. You don't just shake the lunge line a bunch of times because then your horse will not respect you.
Don't look at me.
You don't get to do what you want.
I think she's frustrated. That's why she's doing it.
No, because this is actually my first time. No, she's doing it because she's being a complete brat. Alright, now we're going to watch her being ridden. I want to say something real quick. I'm going to make a whole video about this. But the people at my barn, you had to, I believe the rule is you have to be over 18 to not wear a helmet at the barn. But if you're under 18, you have to wear a helmet regardless, no matter how experienced you are. But that's just, some barns you don't have to wear a helmet at all, no matter what your age is. But other barns, you have to, there's certain requirements that you have to wear a helmet no matter what your age is. And some barns, it doesn't matter if you're what age is, you don't have to wear a helmet. But some barns, it's like you have a certain age limit, you have to wear a helmet. But like at our barns, like if you're under 18, you have to wear a helmet. But if you're over 18, you don't have to wear a helmet. Which is how the rules at our barns are.
Nothing that worked with her, like if she was told to walk out, like she just told her to do that, like for a while.
What did you know about flexion?
I didn't know much about it until like 2 months ago.
Yeah, we're just like a very community barn, whatever the word is. Alright, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did like the video, don't forget to subscribe and turn your post notifications on so you guys know when I upload my next video, which will be really fun, I hope, and I've not planned it yet. I think I might do my next one about helmet safety, why, and the consequences. I will have everybody's that I want to link, which I'm not going to link everyone, even though I mentioned people. I will, if you guys want to check out my unboxing video, it will be linked. I will have it at the end. I will have it linked in the iCard and in my description below. I also have if you guys are wondering, I was at a different barn. If you guys want to check out my moving video of my horse, I will also have it at the end of this video in the description and in the iCard. And also, my horse has an Instagram. My friend's horse has an Instagram that I own because she didn't make one. And I have an Instagram for my farm kid, for my farm life. So if you guys enjoyed, you guys know what to do. Also, I finished my Patreon account. So yeah, it's all finished. I really am happy with it. So you guys can go check that out. My merch account is still up. If you guys didn't know, I have merch. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Hey guys, real quick, I just want to let you know that this ending part is to show you guys a proper way to start a horse. It's just a little bit. Yeah, so just want to let you guys know that's what this ending piece is. Enjoy.
Saddle. Just because I've started her from the beginning and I prepared her, I don't feel too scared to get on bareback. Before I actually get on, I like to desensitize her to my body, the normal movements that you would naturally do if you're gonna jump on your horse bareback. So to start off, get her used to my hands, touch her all over, pat her. I'm gonna do some jumps, jumping, 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 some jumping, 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 some jumping, jumping, jumping. Good girl. She's doing exactly what I want, which is basically standing still. If she were to move off, I would just keep jumping, following her until she stood still, and then I would stop. If you guys have watched my whole series, you're probably sick of hearing me say that, but basically that's how I taught her everything, by pressure and release, by contact and release. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm gonna do a little head start by running over here and jumping just to get her used to that. I'm out of shape. You see, I'm already out of breath. If you didn't have anything to step on, then you would naturally run and jump over, right? So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. Make sure she's comfortable with me running at her. Good girl. Good. So she did great right there. So now that she's comfortable with all of that, I'm gonna go ahead and start applying pressure on her back. So I always start off by laying my arm over her back like this. Good girl, good girl. She's standing still, so I take it off. So that's kind of like the first thing, right? Before I ever lay my body on her, I always lay my arms first, start off slowly. So again, I'm gonna lay my arm on her. She's standing still, and then take it off. So she's fine with that. Next, I'm gonna move on to actually laying my body on her. So I'm gonna kind of lean on her like this, right? Leaning, she's standing still. Good girl, and I get off. She seems okay with all the leaning. Next, I'm gonna actually get on her back. So I actually use a stool for this. As you guys can see, I have a little stepping stool right here. And I'm gonna start off by standing up here. Okay, making sure that she's comfortable with me standing high above her. That's very good. And I'm gonna step down. Again, I'm gonna step up. Good girl. I'm gonna step down. Now I'm gonna move to the higher step because I have two little levels here. Okay, good girl. Now I'm gonna step down. Good. I'm gonna step up. Good girl. Now I'm gonna step down. So as you can tell, she's pretty comfortable with that. I'm gonna move on to actually laying my body on her. And I'm gonna start this off very slow. I'm gonna go ahead and lay just my arms again. But this time, there's a little bit more weight than there would be if I was standing on the floor. So here she's moving off. I'm gonna follow. She started walking off and I just followed until she stood still, and then I got off. I'm gonna do it again. Very good. Since she did walk off the first time, I wanted to get off her back before she had a chance to walk off. Now before I actually lay my body on her back completely, I want to do a little bit of bending and flexing just so I can make sure she's paying attention to the reins. I'm gonna start asking her to bend this way. Girl. Do the same on the other side. Good girl. And now I'm gonna go ahead and use the reins to back her up. So I always like to do all this stuff before I'm actually on her back so that when the moment comes for me to actually ride her, she knows what everything means. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up and ask her to back up. Good. And then I let go. As soon as she takes a step back, I let go of the reins. Again, I'm gonna ask her to back up. Good girl. So now that she's doing all that while I'm standing here next to her, I'm gonna go ahead and get on her back. This way I know that I can back her up or stop her if she does start to walk off.
Okay, you guys, so when it finally came down to actually getting on Brandy's back, I used a lot of the Jeffries method. It gets the horse used to the rider's weight without all of the added tack. It also makes it a lot safer to quickly dismount if the horse spooks or takes off. It's important to take this time to really rub and pet your horse all over and really desensitize them to having someone on their back. I also like to use my back legs and rub them all over her hind end. And you guys, I know this looks really weird, but anyway, once I feel like Brandy is completely comfortable with all of that, I slowly start to bring my legs forward, making sure I'm still rubbing her and petting her, and finally I just sit up and ta-da! I'm officially on Brandy. And of course, once I'm sitting upright, I pet her all over and say good girl, and then I get off before she gets a chance to move, to teach her that she doesn't have to freak out or move, that I'm coming off regardless. And if she did walk off before I got a chance to get off, I would gently stop her and get off once she stood still. So once I do it a couple of times and I feel like she's very comfortable with all of that, I start to work on the bending, the flexing, and the backing up, just like I did on the ground, but this time on her back. As you can see here, when I bend to the right, she didn't know what I was asking and she knocks the stepping stool and gets a little bit nervous. So all I do is just pull back, ask her to back up, and as soon as she backs up, I release the reins completely. And then I let her stand there and relax. A lot of times I notice that when the horses freak out, the riders panic a little bit and pull back on the reins and hold on, which makes everything worse and makes the horse freak out. So I really wanted to make sure I was aware of my reins and make sure that I was giving her the release so that she understood what I was asking. So as you guys saw, I asked her to bend to the right again and she did it perfectly fine. So now I'm going to work on backing her up. As you can see, I just sit deep in my seat, pull the reins back, and as soon as she takes a step back, I release. So I'm going to do that a couple of times just to make sure she understands. I'm going to stop, sit, back up, perfect, and I release the reins.
Alright you guys, so that was my little bareback ride. I have gotten on her bareback a couple of times in the past. It's not like we can go ahead and bareback ride anywhere. I mean, I guess we can, but it's not something that we've practiced and we haven't done it in a long time. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I actually do have a video on my IGTV of me riding her bareback. But yeah, it's not something that we do all the time. We do need a little bit more practice, but that's how I started off. I honestly started off bareback before I ever got on with the saddle on. Just as like a personal thing, I just feel a lot better starting off bareback because I don't want to initially depend on the saddle. So basically that's what I did. Right now that was very, very sloppy and rough. Normally I would try and be more gentle getting on, but because of my wrist, I literally can't hold myself up like I used to. So this time it was a little bit sloppy and I was a little bit rough, but she did okay. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to putting the saddle on. Okay, so once the saddle is on, I like to usually round pen her before I even get on, just so that she can get used to the saddle again and get used to the cinch and everything before I actually ride her, so that if she does freak out, I can kind of work her through that, so it's not like her freaking out at the saddle and at me being on her. So yeah, let's go ahead and round pen her. Easy. Cool. Okay, as you guys saw, she was a little bit crazy during that round pen session. That's exactly why I like to round pen before I ever get on, just so that I can get all of that out before I'm on her back, you know, for safety reasons. So usually if she's acting like that, I just continue to round pen her until I get her nice and calm and collected, and until I get her attention on me and I see that she's a lot calmer. So that's what I did. She's definitely a lot calmer, and now I'm gonna go ahead and get on. Okay, so the first thing I do before I actually get on is play with the stirrups, just to make sure she's comfortable with that. I'm gonna go ahead and lean on the stirrup. Do the same thing on the other side. Very good. I like to attach my lead rope to the other side to create some reins. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get on, but not actually swing my leg over, just to get her used to that first. So everything I do it step by step. Instead of getting all the way on, I'm gonna go ahead and start with putting my leg in. Okay, she's good with my leg. I get off. Good girl. Okay, now I'm actually gonna get on. I'm gonna stay here. Good girl. And get right back off. Again, I'm gonna get on and then get right back off. Good girl, very good. And when I do that, I make sure to lean a little bit that way so that I'm not pulling the saddle and hurting her withers. I just make sure that I'm not putting too much pressure on one side so that I don't hurt her back. Okay, now that I see that she's doing pretty good like this, I'm gonna go ahead and swing my leg over. Very good. Now I'm gonna get back off. That was really good. Good job. Again. Good girl. And now I'm gonna go ahead and move around in the saddle. Touch her all over. Good girl. Get off. Very good. A little disclaimer that I do want to make. I don't know how it's gonna look once I'm editing, but I definitely feel like we're moving very fast. So So I want to make it clear that we have done this before, and you shouldn't get discouraged if it's not looking like this when you're actually working with your own horse. So I am definitely moving a lot faster than I did when I first got on her, but it was very similar to this. Again, because I did so much preparation and so much groundwork, she was very calm when it came down to actually riding and getting on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put on her bitless bridle thing that I normally ride her in, just because I feel like I have a little bit more control with that. When I try and ride in a halter, sometimes it rides up and it applies pressure in areas that I'm not really planning to apply pressure. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch her to her bitless bridle, and I'll show you guys what I worked on once I actually